shopping, charity, rest, questions, skyship, prisoner, apprenticeship, success, fractioner, visions, vigilante, disorder, library, lore, dragons, wood, objections. Hits tricks.
Yes.
You wake up. Sparky is the size of a large dog. I'm not talking like mostly wolf dog, like a large dog.
Mastiff.
You and your 3 companions are in your cabin room, sleeping in your hammock riggings. Sparky is on your chest, either licking your forehead or kissing it. It's not super clear. You basically wake up and you get the underside of Sparky's ridges.
Whoa, that gold coin diet really puts on the pounds, hey? Who's gotten big? You've gotten big.
Are you like shaking Sparky or petting him?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. You haven't been able to understand Sparky until this moment where Sparky looks down at you and says, "You are now a Drake Warden. We are bound by spirit so long as you should live."
I think my first reaction is to assume that Sparky's learned Common and not really process that I've suddenly learned a different language. So I'm like, you can speak Common, and then I realize I'm actually speaking a different language back as well. So I think I'll probably be just confused for a few moments and try to process what's going on, while others respond, if they respond.
They are all asleep, and allow me to describe what's happening. When you glance sideways, Guineria has a beam of moonlight that you are in a ship. Just to be clear, you're in an interior room, and not like there's a window. You are in the core of the ship, and there is a beam of moonlight penetrating the ceiling above you. And I don't mean it's coming through the cracks. I mean it appears to be coming directly out of a plank of wood and bathing her face in moonlight. Underneath you, you briefly think you can see Tanira muttering to herself and something about fire. And your boy, Godric, is surrounded by an eerie green glow that appears to be very, very similar to the ancestor spirits that he summons forth. This whole cabin is weird as shit right now. It is messed up. There's particle effects. The CGI budget was blown on this one. Sparky is like ultra high def.
Yes?
Yeah. So, you're processing that you are, speaking Draconic now. Sparky shifts slightly, and I mean, Sparky is the same size as you now, essentially. Just to be clear, like Sparky, lengthwise, is as long as you are tall and easily weighs about 50% more than you do. They are unusually nimble in the rigging of the hammock and just kind of move themselves to just flat out curl up on you and sit down, which is quite heavy.
Yeah. I mean, I'll like try and move up into like a sitting position in as much as you can sit in a hammock.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'll probably just be, like bombarding with ridiculous questions. Like, now that we've got this level of communication, it's nothing more important than things like, but what did you think when this happened? Or what's your favorite food? Or I've never worked out what your favorite color was. Or why do you keep dying and coming back again? It's just, and I'm probably Kithrick's just a sort of curious person that will like start asking the next question before the person's even finished answering the first one. Stupid thinking of questions and processing answers.
When you motor out, come to a stop, Sparky raises their head regally and just waits like a sitting cat.
So, are we good then? We're still partners?
We are partners, bonded beyond the bounds of fate. You will serve me in my quest to bring balance to magic.
You have a quest. Wow. Okay, well, because, I think we're all your friends. We're all going to help.
You may pet my head. I have been awaiting this.
Oh, yeah. He gets scruffles.
My favorite color. I do not have one. I do not see things as you do. We view the world on a different scale. My favorite food? Gold coins.
If I keep giving you gold coins, are you going to keep getting even bigger? I don't think you can ride in my bag anymore.
No. I prefer to eat gold coins, but I absorb the ambient magic of the world around me, as is my wont, for I am a sink of it. I will, however, create a horde. You will need to prepare to move my horde, as is necessary, despite your itinerant mobile lifestyle.
I mean, I've got a bag.
Excellent. Your first act as Warden and Seneschal is well underway.
Hey, well, you and me and them against the world for your quest, right?
No,
Yeah.
quite the opposite. I would never go against the world. It is not in my nature.
No, it was a coin of phrase.
I have not yet finished absorbing the memories of those around me in order to understand this time.
Maybe some memetics don't translate well to Draconic. I don't know. This whole language thing is pretty new.
Everything translates well to Draconic. It is a base language through which all things are perfectly described as they are, rather than as viewed.
Okay. So, look, it's like look at non-existent watch. It's pretty late. Like, do we get back to sleep now? I mean, the others are still asleep. Or do you want to go up on deck and watch the stars?
You have come here looking for information about dragons.
Well, that is to help help us.
You should speak with the head of this order, the one who flies this device, and the librarian. Your avoidance of your duties fills me with regret.
I mean, it is like the middle of the night. Can we talk to them in the morning?
Very well. I am patient, for all dragons are infinite.
Great. Okay. Well, back to sleep then.
What you call death is merely a transition between phases for one such as I. We may now return to a cycle of rest.
Great. Back to sleep then.
And then Sparky lies down next to you and like curls in underneath your arm to just like jam their snout into your armpit.
Yeah. I have a pet. I know what this is like.
Yeah. The word objection rings throughout the courtroom. We're going to go full 1990s here. Ghostly dwarf, who we know as the High Grudge Keeper, stands in place, and then very fast moving ethereal copies move off from him to do dramatic courtroom antics while clearly delivering speeches as like a 90s alt rock indie music plays, as he is clearly dressing down all 5 of the judges at this bench. And then the one that wasn't moving is now like slow motion approaching the bench, as all the other ones are still moving super quickly and then like returning to him. Ally McBeal. We don't talk about Ally McBeal. I learned some real shit about Ally McBeal, and never gonna look at that show the same way again. For you, Godric, you have never heard one of your spirits, ghosts, ancestors,
apparitions,
whatever you want to call it, because you've not asked anybody about them.
Mm-hmm.
He begins the summation. And so, by the law I myself made, this was clearly not a killing. To begin with, as I have demonstrated several times, the man was given a potion and brought back from the brink of death. Therefore, there was no killing. Your miscarriage of justice, where you have attempted to protect one of your nephews at the cost of another, brings me great shame. As your ancestor, I weep openly at your corruption. And I must invoke the law one final time and insist that he be set free. And the High Grudge Keeper turns and walks back to you, puts a hand on your shoulder, and just sort of fades into you.
Ooh.
The center judge at the table says, "Very well then. How can I go against the ancestors? A man died under your watch, is my belief. But the ancestors themselves stand with you, Godric. But that does not mean that I have to accept that you are a free man to walk. You are no deep bottom. You would strike out against a fellow. You would swing your pickaxe against them. You will return your handle to your father. And you will leave. You are banished. You wish to avoid judgment for death, but you cannot avoid judgment for dishonor, because a strike made in haste is still a strike made.
I think at this point, Godric's been like locked up for a while at this point, right?
Yeah.
I think at this point he's kind of made peace with his fate, and this is far more gentle than I think he was expecting, but it still stings. So I think that he, upon hearing this, like gets up, but there's still this like deep pain written across his face, as he just kind of submits to the judgment. I don't think he has any words to say to something like that. Like, this is just a moment of like deep pain for him. By the way, this scene is amazing, by the way.
Thanks. I stole the idea blatantly from a 1990s music video.
Gotcha.
Is there anyone you would go see? Anything you would go do before your banishment?
I had put in Godric's backstory or in like his notes that I think there was like this girl he was kind of sweet on. Um, and I mentioned that he always kind of wonders like what could have been. I think he probably would have gone to see her. Uh, let's see, Christella Goldengrog. I think he tried to go see her before being exiled. I don't think it's something that he wouldn't try to like convince her that like to come with him. I think he would try to make it like as clean a break in the event that they had anything kind of going on. So like she'd have no ties to him when once he's left.
You approach her family's enclave. It is on the lowest levels, near the lava forges. And you are turned away from her house. You're not allowed to enter.
Mm-hmm.
But her father directs you around the estate, down, further down, around back, down to the private forge. And as you approach, you hear the rhythmic sound of a hammer. As the echoes of your footsteps die on the obsidian steps, you find your girlfriend, your lover, the person who you were going to make a life with. I mean, for dwarves, commitment is everything.
Right.
Her back is to you, and she is at the lava forge, using the heat of the forge to smelt something in haste. This is not her best work, clearly.
Mm-hmm. I think Godric would approach, would probably try to keep like at least 3 feet of distance between him and her because he knows he's trying to like break up and doesn't want to like get too close and give like any kind of like inadvertent body language, like he's trying to expect something else. And I think he'd mention her name. He'd say Christella,
Yeah.
and then I think he would choke up and kind of just stop there because he doesn't know what to say.
She takes whatever it is she's working on and plunges it into a barrel, which boils under the heat. And then she brings it back up and turns. There might have been tears in her eyes once. You can see that there are streaks down her face working their way through the dirt and dust and detritus, but they have been burned away by the heat of the lava forge. And she holds out a rod for you. And the end of it is indented just ever so perfectly that you could fit a pickaxe head onto it. A metal haft.
I think Godric accepts it, and at this point, I think he's like openly weeping. He's not like sobbing, but there's tears just streaming down his face. And I think the only words he has to her is, "I'm sorry, I lost what could have been for us." And I don't think he waits for a response. I think after that, he just turns and walks off.
No, you don't get. Listen, you don't just get to leave a woman like Kristalla. She grabs you by your forearm to keep you from leaving and presses something into your hand.
Mm-hmm. I look at it.
You've seen. It looks like a chain link, but there's some sort of complicated spring work mechanism to it that you've never seen before. And as you're looking at it, you think that this is quite clever, this device. It has some way of locking back on itself so that it won't swing. Oh, it's carabiner. Just
Yeah, I was going to say carabiner.
It locked back on itself so it won't accidentally open. And she presses it in her hand and holds one up herself and says, "Life is sorrow, Godric. You may leave here, but you cannot walk out of my life." And she takes her carabiner and slams it onto yours. And then shows that they can't be pulled apart and says, "I've been working on this for decades, and I need someone to test it out. When you're ready to come back, I need a full PPP report about the readiness of it. Material strength, tensileness, economical use."
I think through the tears, Godric kind of gives her like a little bit of a smile and says, "I'll have it ready as soon as I come back."
Exiles end. Godric. Things can change. Don't think that you can just walk away. All right, Wonderwall's playing, by the way, just in case you're wondering, for sure.
Right. Immediately after that, I go and drop off the wooden haft with my father.
Yeah.
Yep, and then I guess proceed to my exile.
Yeah, there's no words with your father. He just looks blankly on as you hand him the haft. An act of shame that he had hoped he would never witness.
I'd like to think that while that's going on, the ghost of like my grandfather or like great grandfather manifests and is just kind of looking sternly at him, like arms crossed, like don't be disappointed look. I mean, he's not saying anything.
We're all looking disappointed at each other right now. It's like rock, paper, scissors.
Right.
I wonder why.
There's a scent in the air, one area. It smells like... Well, I'll tell you what it smells like. It smells like the gardens outside of Otros Rios, Jamaica. The thick smell of dozens of different tropical flowers, all growing and dying, all in beautiful waterfall-ridden jungle lands. It's the smell that is pungent and thick, but also sweet. The night sky looks different wherever you are, because you definitely went to sleep on a ship. And you are out in a open field. There are 7 moons. The one thing that is the same is the constellation of the Canine, which you know quite well because it's your mother's blessed star.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, there's something familiar. So, 7 moons. Unusual.
Someone nearby just says, "Oh, it's not that unusual. I'd say it's pretty normal around here. Do you just talk to yourself?" The person speaking to you is speaking to you in very accented Sylvan.
No. Of course I'm not speaking to myself. You heard me, thus not speaking to myself.
As you turn to speak to whoever this is, they are sitting on a rock nearby. They have a very small, like 2-finger long tail. Sort of a fuzzy, goatish lower body. And a rotund belly with a man's torso and twisted horns. They are preparing this huge, for their size, pan flute. Okay, whatever you need to tell me. Make yourself feel better.
Oh, I always feel better. That's fine. Hello there. I'm Guineria.
Yeah. We know who you are.
I blink. Well, it is a pleasure to re-earn your acquaintance, I guess. A moment ago, I was meditating, sleeping, drifting, dreaming on a ship.
You're still trancing there, yeah?
Aha. So, I didn't expect to be here speaking.
Why wouldn't you expect to be here? You've always been here.
I know I've always been here, but it's also been a long time since I've been here in some ways. Because I'm not. I walk over and I just reach out and I touch the pan flute, just kind of poke it and
It's real.
jump back. It's
Why
real.
are you touching? Would you want someone to just walk up and start touching your instruments?
Is
that
mine?
seems-
Do I have my instrument?
You
with
have
me?
everything that you would normally carry.
I grab the charm and I like, yeah, you may touch it if you wish.
All right, well, you have a very local sense of understanding of property, so I really have to respect that.
Oh well,
he takes it from you.
everyone shares.
Oh, if only that were true here. If only that were true.
Well, I can't speak for here in the Sylvan
can.
place.
You can speak for here.
What? No, not me.
I would insist that you are the one who speaks for here.
Oh. Okay, well then I shall speak for here. What would you have me speak of such a wondrous place?
Well, I mean, I don't know. It's your place. You're one of the blessed of the Canaan Star. It's your field.
Ooh.
I'm just passing through.
They're just passing through. Well, is there anything that you would like me to return to the other world with and share, perhaps?
You mean the material plane?
Yes.
Eh. Do you know any single women there? Actually, do you know any married women there? If so, I would like you to tell them about my sexual prowess.
If there is an appropriate story, nothing blatant, mind you, but
Nothing
lots
blatant?
of hints, and some innuendo.
I'm literally a spirit of lust.
Yes, but people in entertainment like a little bit of foreplay to their tellings. Yes,
That's
I'm sure
never
you can
been my
understand.
experience, but
Oh, well, the material plane is a strange place, maybe.
oh, you're telling me.
I don't really know much about my companions' paths. I've only known them a short time, so unfortunately, I don't know if there are any married women amongst any of the crew on the ship. But if I find out and I come back here and you're passing through again, I'll let you know.
You can't come back here.
I can't come back here, but
You can't come back to a place that you never leave.
Oh, okay.
Got him.
So when I wake again, if you are still here, how's that?
Eh,
Fair?
I don't know. Could be a day, could be 7 years until you come back here. I won't stick around, but I could pass through again.
Well, that's all I can do is say that if we should meet up again in such wondrous splendor that I never leave, then I would be happy to report back on the nuptial status of anyone I come across. That may interest you.
I don't need that.
Well,
Not even
you asked.
No, that's not what I asked. I asked if you could spread my legend to the married women. I don't need you to tell me whether they're married or not.
Oh. Okay.
If you have tales you want to tell me, I will listen, but I specifically don't need what you just said I needed. I didn't ask for that.
You are very confusing.
Am I the confusing one, or is it you?
No, you're the confusing one.
To me, you make no sense.
Now, and to me, you make no sense. So, we are in accord then. We both think the same thing. Lovely.
Is there some boon I might do to repay the favor which you have tenuously agreed to?
Oh. I'm just making my way through the material world, trying to learn about dragons. I have a friend with a dragon. That's quite interesting. I'm interested to see where that goes.
See, I'll ask you a second time. You're sure there's no boon I might perform?
Oh. Yes. Yes, if you wish to perform a boon, yes, by all means.
Yes?
I should not turn that down. It would be rude.
Is there a request you have for me?
I'm always looking for new insights into magic. Spells, abilities, a smattering of magical whimsy that may aid my companions in our adventures.
Very well.
I should be more succinct.
It's okay. The bargain is complete. When he says that, you feel something change in the air. Something about you. Something deep in your core. And you have a knowledge now that you have agreed to a Fey bargain. The price of which breaking is very severe.
Oh, I am aware. I am aware.
Well, I can play a lullaby if you'd like to go back to sleep.
Well, I suppose that I should, sleep here and waken in the other, less interesting place. Look after those companions and that dragon.
Take care when dealing with dragons.
Oh, I know. This one doesn't like us learning about dragons. I know that much. But learn we shall.
The satyr pops up off the rock and waves a hand. Around you, motes of light and fairy fire. Dozens of them, almost like fireflies, begin to appear all around this grassy plain. And they begin to blow in tune as he plays the pan flute version of a lullaby. We're talking some Zelda's lullaby from Zelda Skyward Sword level shit. It's like that, just to be clear, because we can't say it's that.
Mm-hmm.
For copyright reasons and shit.
Yes.
Intellectual property.
Nintendo really good about claiming
Oh
that.
my god. Don't even tell me about Persona, bro. Yeah, he just lets it ride for a minute. You wake up on the ship and you recognize now that there is a new innate magic that you have.
I wake up. Is anyone else awake?
Everyone else is awake, except for Sparky and Kitrix, who are still asleep. Sparky is absolutely massive now, a real chunkers.
Oh.
Absolute unit.
So, Tanira, did you know that satyrs have prowess? And they want you to know.
No, but thank you.
Yes, I've done. Yeah, I'm there. See, I am doing the work that has been requested of me. And
you know what? I'll buy
maybe
that.
awkward.
Tanira is married.
There we go.
That was a real easy win for you right there. Tanira, you wake up, and for the first time in a long time, you did not have any dreams that you can remember.
Probably just spend the morning trying to figure out why. What
Okay.
changed?
You want to make an insight check real quick?
Yeah.
All right.
First roll of the night. Let's go.
Let's go. Come on, a 3 on the die
Insight.
right here. 3 on
know,
the
right?
die. 3 on the die. 5. Straight up 5. You hope.
No idea.
It's not that you have no idea. I think maybe you come to the wrong conclusion.
Mm.
You think it's something about this place. You've heard that temples and monasteries can have protections around them.
True. I have heard of that. Probably just throw myself into my work at that point.
You're finishing your woodwork on your
Yeah.
Kensei tools.
Yep.
All right. What's everybody else doing for the morning?
I'm going to spend time using the chef feet that I picked up to make some treats.
Yeah. What are you making?
Well, it says when I finish a long rest, which I'm assuming that's what this was.
It is.
I can make 2 treats. So I'm thinking like 2 like big circular like pancakes.
Very well.
Something kind of substantial.
Guneria, what's your plan going into the day?
Socialize with the crew. Get to know them. Tell them
Interesting.
stories. Listen to what they, listen to the things they like, and tell them stories about that.
Making
And
gossip?
if in gossip, rumors, if in conversation there are married women who need to hear about a satyr, then I will pass on that information because I made that bargain, and I am an elf of my word.
Make a charisma check. So not persuasion, just flat charisma. The difficulty will be much lower
I heard a
because you
rumor.
don't. Yeah, okay. Come on. That really got out of hand.
Ability check, charisma, go normal.
Well, that's really good.
Jesus. That's really good.
Boom.
22. The crew here has a lot going on, and there's far too many people to give you any individual conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Almost all the crew members you talk to do not serve on this ship originally. They are not crew members from the original crew of the Lumbering Behemoth. You get piecing together that people are still processing the loss of the fleet. A lot of people seem to be giving respect. They're preparing to hold a vigil tonight for the crew member who saved the ruined ship that you saw.
Mm-hmm.
So some of these words don't mean anything to you yet, but while the hull of the ship was on fire, a young woman attached herself to the fractioner on the back end of the ship, and kept the entire ship aloft on that fractioner while the ship was burning, so that some of the hull and the fractioners could be saved. And they burned to death and died, but they lived long enough that the Lumbering Behemoth was able to get some ropes tied onto the remainder of the hull and drag it back to the outpost. There is a question of the weather because it's supposed to rain today. A lot of people are worried that they don't outrightly rebuke the captain, but they're worried because they came out here and encountered a flock of wyverns and drakes, and they lost. And some people, say something. Well, we drove them off as well, but they're back here to fight them a second time. They're down 11 ships. It's just a supply vessel. They don't have any destroyers with them. There's no ballistas. There's no fire nets. There's 4 thopters, and that's it. All of the knights are away from the ship now. If the monastery is attacked, they're concerned. And beyond that, there's a lot of very quiet inquiries into just what happened to the prisoner and their mysterious death the night before arriving here at the disorder.
Well, I couldn't tell you about the prisoner. The weather does feel like it's going to change. I know all the knights are gone, but you do have some capable hands on board, should it come to it. So perhaps we who are new to all of this would lend a hand in your protection.
I think one of the men you're working with and talking to just goes, "What do you mean you'll lend a hand for our protection? You were hired to protect us."
Yes. I'm trying to be poetic about it. Sorry. I'm supposed to be more direct and succinct. Yes. Yes.
You are a strange person.
I am. I'm used to spinning tales, telling stories. We will be here to defend you.
Have you heard the one about the cat and the prince?
No. Do tell. I
Right.
should write that one down.
He tells you the story of the cat and the prince. Very famous tale in the Empire. Child's tale. Kithtrix. You wake up.
Yep.
You
I
have-
am going looking for whoever's in charge.
Whoa,
Okay.
whoa.
Let him set the scene in Fair Verona.
You got duties now, my friend. I don't know if you know this, but a cleric requires an additional hour in order to prepare spells, which you have yet to have done.
Okay.
When you awaken, you feel that call to say the prayers and select from a menu of choices for your God to bless you with.
Okay.
What are the specials today?
The same special that there is every day. Healing word.
All right. Well, I will. When I wake up, I will do that first. Then.
What does your prayer time look like?
So
Because
I
you have
think
had
that,
some questions about what's happening to you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So I think that it's probably like the one time that Kitrix is actually quiet and contemplative and not talking constantly. And it's probably like prayers with a tactile fixation. So either playing with a holy symbol or like just pulling something together from bits of reed and grass, almost making like little sort of tree effigies as a way of sort of focusing her thoughts by focusing on an object. Like not with any sort of artistic talent, just a more of a tactile fixation.
It's rough because your dragon continues to bother you while you're attempting to pray. But
Yeah.
you ask for aid from a source beyond yourself. And without asking for payment, without bargain, you receive what you ask for in some measure. There is a disconnect between it. You may ask for the ability to heal someone, and you get some small form of that. You might ask for the ability to call fire into your hands, and you get a little fire. Whatever you're asking for, you might not be asking correctly. You still get something.
Yeah. A lot of what I know, just for your benefit, AP, is from it's actually from druid. Being a nature cleric, it actually takes a lot of spells from the druid spell list rather than the standard cleric spell list too. So things like speak with animals, animal friendship, that sort of stuff. Yeah.
You asked for the ability to speak with animals. You get exactly that then. That was real easy.
Yeah. All right.
You asked for the ability to speak to all beings, and speak with plants doesn't appear in your spell list.
No. Healing and bless are probably the two more sort of conventional cleric things that I think Kithrix is learning now. That the sort of idea of actually trying to convey that divine power to somebody else, not just. I mean, so you had ranger spells beforehand, but this is more of an outward focus thing now than an inward focus thing.
Now you can do your thing. Now that I got my meats.
Okay, no worries. All right. Well, as suggested by Sparky, I'm going looking for whoever is in charge.
Okay.
Which is it still
Captain Lynn Thule?
Yeah.
Captain Lynn Thule is on deck. She has her captain's hat off and like an officer's overcoat ready, and is looking at the approaching rain clouds on the horizon. She's got a mug of something hot and dark in her hand and nods as you move to step beside her.
Good morning. Do you remember me, Kithrix Dustbraid, apprentice rigger, adventurer? Yes. Okay, excellent. So I've got good news. I learned Draconic, and I can now have meaningful conversations with my beautiful dragon here, who is also not such a baby boy anymore. Look at this. Look how big he's gotten.
It is deeply troubling to me when dragons grow larger for no apparent reason.
Well, no, it's growing up. What's the reason?
How old is this dragon?
A few months.
I assume you have a point to this conversation?
Well, it's just that, so I was talking with him last night, and I'm still trying to learn more about dragons, and I thought maybe now that a conversation can be three-way, I can learn more about, but we can learn more together from your experience, because you obviously know a lot more about dragons than I do, and your knowledge will be different to Sparky's, I guess, ancestral information, and maybe you could help us out a bit further if you're not too busy with your cup of black liquid.
I have been busy throughout the trip, but I will make time later today. Gather your band so that I don't need to repeat myself. We should have this conversation together. There are some questions I may not be able to answer as a member of the Imperial Sky Knights for reasons of security, but I will do my best to answer questions pertaining to dragons.
All right. Before or after lunch?
Before ship's lunch, which may not be the same as your lunch.
Well, I mean, I'm eating. I'm a member of the crew now, so I'm eating when you tell me to eat. Like just before or after that?
Before.
Before. Okay. No worries. All right. Well, I have to go tie knots. I'm getting better at it.
She nods, goes back to sipping and looking at the horizon.
All right. Come on, Sparky. Let's go.
Sparky has a new walk. It's less of the sort of scampering and more like a slithering now way of motion. Yeah. I think we still have time before the break. If there's anything anyone wants to do before the meeting, or we can start the meeting. Sparky is much smaller than a Komodo dragon. Let me be perfectly clear about that one.
Well, I'm thinking like the walk is kind of what I was envisioning.
Yeah.
So I think, well, say like a wolf in D&D is still medium size, isn't it?
Yes,
So
but
smaller than that. But
people underestimate how big wolves are in real life.
yeah,
People think wolves
They're
are the
big.
same size as dogs when wolves can fit a dog inside their stomach.
Mm.
I think dogs are small size, aren't they?
Yes. Wolves are very, very big in reality. Nature cameras do not prepare you for the size of a wolf.
Probably just get a workout in. That's about it.
Where do you work out?
If there's just like a general practice area, I'll probably do that.
Amazing. When you start practicing at the Disorder, you gain quickly the attention of several others in the local area. Make a performance check real quick.
Yes.
I don't know why you're happy about that.
Because I get to make rolls.
Wow. 11. You don't embarrass yourself. I mean, that's a 10 is a perfectly average. You perform your personal blend of martial arts averagely. You are approached towards the end by it's hard to tell if they're human or maybe half elven. They're wearing a maroon robe that's it's like if someone was a Jedi but they weren't wearing the inner robes, just the outer robe, and kind of coarse. Full arm length, full leg length. A belt of just like a knotted rope as a small belt. They have a look to them that indicates age and experience. This is a person who has lived and has been weathered by it. Their brilliant blue eyes look at you from out of their face, and there's something about this gaze that makes you think that you are being seen.
Just give him a small bow and kind of start walking.
A moment. May I speak with you?
Of course. What can I do for you?
There is an energy about you. Might I grab your ear?
I suppose.
They stand before you and grab your earlobe and kind of tug on it slightly. And you feel something in the place where your key resides. It's like you have become a wall and someone is pressing up against it. Your ship has been here. And yet you have not come to the Disorder.
Well, I mean, I'm a traveler. I don't very much stay in one place for very long. Guess I
What
don't
do
take
you
any-
do?
I'm a carpenter by trade. What do you do?
It is an excellent question. I exist. I learn. And if I'm very lucky, I teach.
Sounds like a fine life.
I think you will find that all lives are fine lives, but they are the only lives that one has.
No matter how short or long they are.
You have a martial prowess to you, and at this, they let go of your ear, finally.
Thank God. I kind of take a half step back.
You are welcome to learn or teach here, if you wish. You have no need to hide yourself away from your brothers and sisters.
Appreciate the offer, and if I need it, I will take you up on it.
What if we need you?
Well, I'm here for however long the ship is.
The disorder is a place, but it is also a state of mind. You can carry it with you.
Well, that works out for me.
If you want to learn, to teach, you just want to be, we are here. I
Much
am the
appreciated.
song.
The song?
Yeah. Saang.
Ah, yes. My name is Tanira. It's a pleasure to meet you. I should really be getting back to my work now. Thank you for the lesson and the conversation.
Was it a lesson? What did you
Isn't-
learn?
That you are here for me and I can train as I like, and that I take with me my experiences everywhere I go.
That is a fine lesson. The song nods. They step backwards as if to break contact, but don't break eye contact. They
Mhm.
just want you to feel comfortable leaving.
I take my leave.
You know who else is taking our leave? Us, because we'll be back in about 5 minutes for the next part.
Yeah.